What's up, fellas? Blue Dream MMA here. We're still in the aftermath of UFC 300, the best card of all time, in my opinion. More than likely, the reason, as well as UFC 299, why all the cards coming up until June 1st are gonna be considered lacklusters by MMA fans. It was a really great card, but today we're discussing a fighter that did not receive his flowers. We're discussing a fighter that got booed his whole fight, that did not even receive a post-fight interview. In my opinion, the most underappreciated fighter. It's not just an opinion; it's pretty factual. He was the most underappreciated fighter on the UFC 300 card. Received a lot of hate by the fans, a lot of critiquing, considering he was the most dominant fighter of the whole night. If you want to look at it objectively, he was the most dominant fighter of the whole night. He fought Calvin Kattar. We're talking about obviously Aljamain Sterling. He had a great fight. If I'm not mistaken, he took basically as many hits as he took his opponent down, which honestly is pretty insane. Calvin Kattar is a really good fighter. He's a top 10 fighter in the featherweight division, and honestly, did not show. Like, Aljamain made him look like an amateur over there. He like Calvin Kattar could not do anything to him. I'm really happy about the performance. Personally, I like the fight. I know a lot of the fans didn't. Everybody was really like, yeah, Aljo owes 300K for that fight to Dana White. I get it, honestly. Not everybody's fond of wrestling, and there's a lot of grappling and fights. Personally, I'm a grappler, so I don't really care about it. I like it. Honestly, I like dominant showings like the one that Aljo did. Personally, I think he did better than Bo Nickel, for example, in what he was supposed to do. Like, if you consider the competition, Bo Nickel fought Cody Brundage and did not do that. He was not able to dominate the same way that Aljo did, you know? The question that I have today for y'all and for all of us, I mean, who should be next for Aljo? Personally, I think it should be a grappler. I want him to have a kind of exciting performance or something of the like. So I really think that him fighting a grappler is optimal instead of fighting another striker where either he gets just knocked out or fucking goes out there and dominates the guy, and then people complain again saying, "Oh, he's just a wrestler. He's just a wrestler." Yeah, he's a wrestler, man. That's how it is. So I think he should be fighting a wrestler or a grappler, like if possible, next. Like the first one on my radar, like that could be a really exciting fight between Aljamain and another fighter would be him versus Brian T-City Ortega. Let's be real. TCD is probably the best grappler in the division. Like, not necessarily the best grappler, but the best submission guy in the division. He's the most dangerous when it comes to being on the ground. So I think that him versus Brian Ortega would be a really interesting matchup. High level of jiu-jitsu from both guys. Ortega has definitely the better triangles and all that stuff. But his submission defense leaves to be a little desired. Like, some of y'all might call me crazy, but his first fight versus Yair Rodriguez, he did well. You know, he did pretty well until he got in a submission and popped his arm out trying to get out of it. I know some will say freak accident. Of course, it is a freak accident, but let's be real. He was in the submission and popped his arm out trying to get out of it. Technically, that's a submission. Of course, they scored it as a TKO for Yair. But let's be real, you know. I'm not saying that Yair is not a good grappler. Yair is an actual decent, like, just to be able to put Ortega in these positions, we have to be real. He's a decent grappler. But yeah, if we're being honest, that was a submission. I think him versus Aljo with his great wrestling, his relentless pace as well, could definitely post some issues for Brian Ortega if he's not able to submit him, because Ortega is not the best defensive wrestler either. You know, it's pretty easy to take down, and his offensive wrestling is really leaves to be desired. Like that's the probably the worst part of his game is his offensive wrestling, as well as his fucking defense. Like striking defense, awful. Like he has the worst striking defense probably in the. Well, he used to in the division. I don't know who has the worst right now because he did pretty well in the second fight versus Yair Rodriguez. But yeah, he does have good boxing though. His jab, his hooks, he got power in his hands as well. So yeah, that definitely poses a threat to a guy like Aljo, who's not the best striker. Is actually probably one of the worst strikers in the whole division right now. The next possible outcome, like next possible fighter that I think could be a good fight for Aljamain Sterling would be Movsar Evloev. Movsar Evloev is another grappler, another relentless paced guy that shoots a lot of takedowns, kind of like Merab at 135, but his 145 is pretty thick, stocky. He's really well built. You know, has a good power in his hands. He can actually strike with some guys. Like he had a good fight versus Arnold Allen. He actually almost dropped him with a jab. He's another fighter that like the fans do not appreciate because he's really heavy on the like decisions. Like he's probably the master of decisions in that division. Like nobody gets decision like this guy at 145. Like it's a real decision machine. I think he's like 8 fights in the UFC with 8 decision wins, if I remember properly. So yeah, not saying that he cannot finish Aljo. I definitely think that he can finish Aljo, just not on the ground. Movsar is definitely I wouldn't say he's a better wrestler, but he has shown to be kind of a more effective one when it comes to wrestling in the cage. So, I mean, he was able to take Arnold Allen down like multiple times. They didn't score all of them because a lot of it was mat returns, but he was really able to like when he had his hands on Arnold Allen until the third round, but like he was able to take him down like pretty often. And I don't know if you guys know Arnold Allen he has really decent wrestling. Like he's not a bad wrestler at all. So yeah, I think this definitely is a good fight. I think both will be shooting on each other. Although I wouldn't be surprised if Movsar just tries and stand up with Aljo and just try to strike with him. You know, he did have a like I said, he's definitely like he's strong. You know, powerful. He has a good chin. He got hit a lot of times by more than a few times by Diego Lopez. And we already know now Diego Lopez is probably the most dangerous first round fighter in this whole division. Like he's one of the few guys that have actual like true knockout power. Kind of like I think Diego Lopez is, you know, he's a real dangerous fighter, and Movsar was able to take his punches. You know, he did get hurt in the first round. He did get rocked. He did get put in submission. He didn't tap obviously, but yeah, like Diego Lopez, like Movsar was able to really grapple with him, not get tapped, and ended up beating him on the feet over the 3 rounds. But yeah, it was a close fight though. Diego Lopez, I think, is another one that I would like to see that rematch one day. Like I think Diego Lopez versus Movsar one day should be nice. But for now, I think it will be more appropriate to have Movsar fight Aljamain Sterling instead. There's another fight that I've heard people call for, you know, because they love him. It's Volkanovski. He just lost his belt. I know most fans expect him to be fighting Ilya Topuria for the rematch, but after the performance of Max Holloway, it's really likely to be off the books. Anyways, Volk got knocked out not too long ago, so it's definitely still gonna be on it's definitely gonna have to be waiting a while. Like I think Volk, if he wants to fight for that belt again, he should wait until like the end of the year. He got knocked out twice in 2 months, so it should stay far from Ilya for now. And but yeah, I've heard like a lot of the YouTube MMA guys and some of the fans ask for Volk to fight Aljamain Sterling to give him a free win, basically. I don't agree with that. I don't think that that's a good fight for Aljo. I think Aljo really gets whooped. I don't think he's ready for that fight at all. Although Volk has shown some weaknesses that Aljamain not probably, but could maybe um, take advantage of. Like Volk is really short, so is Aljo. But Aljo has a style where he likes to throw a lot of head kicks as well, which could potentially hit Volkanovski. Although I don't think it's gonna happen. I think him versus Volkanovski is not a fight that should happen. At least not now. If Aljo gets another win and we see that he can actually like hang with the higher guys in the division like Brian or Mofsar, I think fight versus Volk could happen down the line. But I still think that Volk could beat him. If it was Volk last year, it's no discussion whatsoever. But Volk of this year got knocked out twice already. Took a lot of damage over the years and everything. So it is a possibility that Aljo could beat him, but I don't think that he does. Honestly, I think he gets beat everywhere versus Volk. Probably not like he probably doesn't submit him. Probably doesn't get submitted either. But I think that he gets beat everywhere. Like on the feet, he's definitely gonna have a lot of issues taking him down. But yeah, it's still a good fight though. I ain't gonna lie. I am lying though. Let's be real. And the last one that I don't think this should be next, obviously, but another one that I think is a really interesting fight is Aljo versus Diego Lopez. We talked about Diego Lopez earlier versus Mosarvov. He has good striking. He's bigger than most 45ers. Like he's the same height as Max Holloway. Probably has longer reach than Max Holloway. Has definitely more power than Max Holloway. As well as he's just so good on the ground. It's like Mofsar was in worlds of trouble with it versus this guy on the ground. And so that's why I would like to see him versus Aljo. Like we saw that he doesn't have necessarily the best defensive wrestling. We didn't see him offensively wrestle yet. Like he hasn't really shot takedowns like that in the UFC. But we saw him get taken down. Basically, well, it was Mosarvov. So Mosarvov is definitely not like someone to spit on. He can definitely strike. He can definitely wrestle. So that was definitely a tough fight for Diego. But I think that him versus Aljo down the line, because I think Diego is like number 14 right now. Aljo is number 8. So it's definitely a fight next. But I think that him would definitely be a good fight in the future, maybe next year or something like that. You know what I mean? And yeah, like, or if Aljo loses the next fight versus Diego Lopez, it's definitely a good fight. Like, I think Aljo obviously will be trying to wrestle with him a lot. And I really want to see like how they do. Like, I want to see how good both of them are on the ground. If Diego doesn't just go and knock him out in the first round, which is definitely a possibility because Diego Lopez has power in his hands and like even from short uppercut, it was able to rock Sadiq Yusuf all over the cage. Not that Sadiq Yusuf has the strongest chin, but damn, let's be real, guys. It's not every day you see guys from the smaller divisions just throw heat like that. So yeah, these are the 3 fights that I would like to see for Aljamain Sterling down the line. Well, the last 2 are down the line. Actually, the last one, I don't want to see him versus Volkanovski, seriously. Unless he goes out there and beat Brian Ortega or Mofsar. But if he loses to either of them, I would like to see him versus Diego Lopez. But yeah, for now, I think him versus Brian Ortega is probably the best fight out right now. I think that's a good, exciting fight. And yeah, man. So that's these are my thoughts. Let me know what you guys think about this. Put it in the comments or whatever. You know, like the videos if you liked it. Subscribe if you feel like it. And I'm out.